Well, that was a movie.
Hello, welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're giving our first thoughts on Superman, the new James Gunn film starring David Corenswet, and...
That's a good question.
Oh god, what's his name? Nicholas Hoult! There we go!
Oh, yeah.
From Mad Max fame. He's done a lot of stuff, but that's where I met him.
Beast.
Yeah, he also, what was it, Warm Bodies, I think was like his first major role. Played the zombie that fell in love or whatever.
Oh, I remember the trailer for that one. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah. Anyway, not that this is part of, I guess it kind of is, a franchise, but obviously it's not connected in any real way to Man of Steel or the other Superman movies, but
No,
still...
This is the new James Gunn cinematic universe.
The DCU.
Everything else has been erased, except for that one Suicide Squad movie and Peacemaker.
Yeah. And, but yeah, so I mean, just to compare it to other, I guess technically it must be in some way connected to the original Superman movies from like the 70s because they used the same score, the theme, which doesn't make any sense. It would be like if The Dark Knight used the Tim Burton theme at some point, or Robert Pattinson used The Dark Knight. It doesn't make any sense that the music would be the same, but it's there.
Yeah, all right.
It doesn't make any sense, is what I'm trying to say. Which is a good segue into how we feel about this movie. Before we say that, though, how do you feel about Zack Snyder? How do you feel about the Man of Steel?
I think I liked Man of Steel more than a lot of people, but...
This was the exact opposite reaction I was hoping for. My point was trying to say, we're not Snyder fanboys. We're not going to trash this movie because we love Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder did horrendous things. Also some great things. That was my point. But sure, let's talk about Man of Steel. I think I can agree that it's not as bad as some people treat it. I think also, I know, for example, my old boss said Man of Steel was better than The Dark Knight. I think that man is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. See, my thing is, I'm just not like a Superman purist because I was never the biggest Superman fan. Like, I saw all the movies.
Yeah.
I watched Superman the Animated Series, and now I really want to watch it again, actually. I haven't seen it in decades.
Yeah.
But,
my favorite representation of Superman growing up was technically that, but it was the movie, the Batman and Superman movie, the animated one back in the day where Joker and Lex Luthor team up to try and take him down. They like swap villains. I love that. But yeah, same guy from the animated series.
Yeah.
So that to me is Superman. I obviously watched the original ones. What Christopher Reeve? Is it Reeves or Reeve?
Reeves, I think.
Christopher Reeves to me is still the
wrong.
Christopher Reeves to me still is the quintessential Superman. I think Henry Cavill was on paper a very good casting for Superman. Never had anything against Cavill's performance. I thought the only issues with those movies were in the scripting of the movie, and maybe some of the directing. But as far as the casting, I thought he was great for it. My biggest issue, and the general biggest issue with Man of Steel that everybody says, is that Superman isn't supposed to be dark. It isn't supposed to be gritty. He is supposed to be a beacon of hope, a beacon of light. And so to try to Batmanify Superman defeats the purpose.
And I will admit, I definitely have that Boy Scout image of Superman myself.
Sure.
So that was a revelation in Man of Steel. But, it didn't really kill me. I kind of understood some of the damage to the city. Like, he didn't want that.
Right.
He didn't try as hard.
Him killing Zod was a good... Because it's an origin story, so he's like... He didn't... Obviously, growing up or whatever, it's not like he was like, I'm gonna kill people. Yeah. He never probably thought about it before. Like, And then he was put in a position where his only choice was to kill the guy, it seemed. And so he did, and you saw... the impact. I thought the delivery of that moment with him screaming and everything was actually probably the best part of the movie to me. But
I thought we could have had a nice trilogy turning him into the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Or at least by the third movie, maybe he's the Boy Scout. But
I never thought
they kind of went that route through Justice League, and whew, let's talk about a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think Superman wasn't, as you put it, like a Boy Scout necessarily in Man of Steel. He wasn't as goody two shoes as you're used to seeing him, for sure.
I chalked it up to be him being a rookie. essentially.
Yeah, and I didn't hate the portrayal of Superman, but I understood why it wasn't what people who are actual Superman fans wanted. I agree with you. I was never a huge Superman fan. I always found him a bit boring.
Yeah.
Nobody could do anything to stop him, no matter what. Or it was just kryptonite every time. But anyway, I also, growing up, I had the old radio show on tape, and we would make fun of that so much growing up. It was a lot of fun, but it was like, first of all, it's a radio show, so all the fights were, take that, and that. And that was literally the fights in that. It's great. Love it. No, literally, it was just guys and mics and smacking their hands together. Like, oh, ah. But anyway, it was the same basic thing every time. Was just like, except for one story arc where he lost his memory. It was always just, and he got kryptonite. Oh, now he's fine, kind of thing. And so, yeah. But anyway, we're deviating here. My point is, I think a lot of people, and I totally understand why, we're very excited to see a return to form, quote unquote, for Superman, where we could get back to him being that beacon of hope, that, shining city on a hill kind of thing, where it's not like a brooding character who is going to, no matter what it takes, save the world. It's like he's going to try to do the best thing in every situation, and that's kind of the dilemma in its own way. My problem, though, with this movie, because now we're getting into this movie, is I don't think that's what they did. I think they overcorrected and they made Superman lamer, cheesier than he had to be. I get it. The Christopher Reeve Superman movie is cheesy in a way, but I always felt like he was always still, as Superman, always standing tall, always noble, always powerful. And in this, he's kind of just a goofball. And you can't use the excuse of, oh, well, it's an origin story, because this movie inexplicably starts 3 years into him being Superman when he's gotten his shit together, supposedly, but he's I don't know, totally unheroic in my mind, in that, like, he's just kind of lame and hard to root for.
Interesting.
You don't agree at all?
So, I definitely feel like he had a lot of the heroics that we were going for. He's definitely goofier than probably any other Superman iteration that I can think of. Chalked it up mostly to James Gunn.
Yes, which that's a rant we'll get into. I hate James Gunn's movies most of the time. I think he's one of the most overrated filmmakers in the world.
I usually enjoy them enough. They're never going to be my favorite things ever, except for, 2 of those Guardians movies are pretty great. But
Which 2?
1 and 3.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah. I like all 3 of them, but yeah, that's fair. That's the thing, is I do like Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's why it's hard to say James Gunn is a hack, because I like that whole trilogy. In fact, I've gone on record saying I thought each movie was better than the last. I thought they just kept getting better, which I know is an unpopular opinion, but regardless. And also, give him props. He wrote the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh, God, yes, he did do those.
But outside of that, I don't like him. I thought his Suicide Squad movie sucked. I hated it.
I thought it was all right, funny at times, and, I mean, all I had to do was compare it to the first one. So, much better than that one.
It's better, but it's not good. It's the whole thing, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, and everybody went, oh, see, it's so good. I'm like, no, it's just marginally better than the Joss Whedon one.
The Snyder Cut, yeah. My bad.
It's better than the Joss Whedon one. That's not success. That's not the bar.
See... But you're not understanding superhero movies.
Clearly not.
You gotta go in with the most rock bottom, expect nothing expectations, and then you'll walk out mostly pleasantly surprised.
I was 12. Better yet, I was 10, 9 or 10, the first time I saw Batman Begins. I've been spoiled since a young age. Also, I mean, the animated series, growing up on that, Batman the animated series, I just, since a young age, and Spider-Man, holy hell, yeah, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies came out when I was like 6 or 7. I've been taught from a young age that no, superhero movies can and will be consistently great until around the 3rd installment. That's what I was taught. And so I get it. That's not how superhero movies are anymore. They're all cookie cutter, they're all boring, they're all bad. I get it. But they don't have to be.
They don't have to be. Now, I did expect Superman to get back to being notably good, heroic, notably campier. I guess I did expect it. When it was announced James Gunn,
Yeah.
I had to expect that.
Yeah,
but-
the second I heard James Gunn was doing it, I said, that sounds like a terrible decision, and I stand by that thought. Like, to me, like, I get it. Like, I don't have anything wrong with Superman being campy
yeah.
or the Superman movie having moments of levity. I mean, the Christopher Reeves one have levity, but the levity doesn't typically come from Superman. It's the side characters. And so to have him with the lines like you see in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything, he's down a cliff and the one guy leans over and goes like, stop messing around, we got work to do. And he goes, I'm not messing around. I'm like, that to me is not Superman. Superman doesn't have quippy moments like that. Like, to me, Superman, yeah, Christopher Reeve, we mentioned him a bunch, but like I said, go to the animated series. He's always stoic.
I feel like he can have a few moments with other people. I want to say there's a couple moments of like jokish levity, not this much, but like maybe throughout Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, when they've got a whole team. Because Batman also acts pretty differently in a team. I'm not saying Superman becomes the jokester or anything, but
Right.
like I think
No,
he's
he's always-
cracks a couple of quips every once in a while with a team. This was a lot. This was definitely a lot, but this was James Gunn. Like,
Right, but like, so Superman's style of joking is like, I don't know how better to characterize the character of Superman other than the perfect hero.
yeah.
It's like, it's almost like a father figure in a way where it's like, he's strong, he's tall, he's consistent, he's perfect in every way. And so when he jokes, it's just kind of like a hey there, buddy, kind of joking.
Kinda, yeah.
That's what he's supposed to be. This guy isn't a hey there, buddy. He's a, oh, what am I doing? And I'm like, what the heck? That's not Superman. To me, it's not. And I get, like I said, they were trying to correct for Man of Steel, but they went way too far that way. And I think they ruined the character in a completely different way, to the point that I liked Man of Steel far more than this movie. And I'm not even a big Man of Steel fan. I would give Man of Steel like a 6 to a 6.5. I would give this movie a 3 to a 4.
Damn.
I hated this movie. I legitimately hated this movie.
I'd be very interested one day to side by side Man of Steel versus this movie to see
Oh
how
God, you get whiplash.
because I have not seen Man of Steel in a long time, at least 5 years, probably more.
Mm-hmm.
I've
My
seen it
biggest-
twice maybe.
My biggest issue with Man of Steel was it was the direct response to The Dark Knight, which was to take everything super seriously but nobody could do it like Nolan did it, and so it just all became kind of boring. My
Yeah.
biggest issue with Man of Steel is that it's boring.
See, my big issue with most other superheroes, and for some weird, I mean, Spider-Man is so confined that even though his powers should not work this way, for how strong he is,
Yeah.
it just works out. These flying, ultra powerful superheroes, they don't have to be Superman strength, but just really too strong, so your villains have to cause a lot of crazy damage around.
Yeah.
It's just
kinda-
doesn't work well in live action.
Yeah.
Any form. You want to give it a crazy amount of budget. All right, we're going to fly around the city destroying buildings, but like
Yeah.
that's you might be able to make that good. Most people can't.
No.
Most of those really strong flying Wonder Woman, Superman type heroes, they get to the third act, fights, and it
they're
starts to
just
drop
lame. Yeah. And the only way that you can counter that with Superman, because most of his villains, it's the same dilemma as like the Hulk, where most of the villains are just a copycat of him. I guess it's a lot of heroes and their villains, like the Flash. It's just, oh,
Yeah, the Flash
reverse
one,
Flash.
The Flash one was funny.
And
The Flash
Hulk,
TV
it's
show
like-
had like a Flash villain every
Yeah.
single season.
And then the Hulk is just like, oh, the Abomination or Red Hulk. It's just the same thing. And so Superman's, a lot of his villains are like that, but the best villains, the two most popular Superman villains, if you say who are Superman's villains, two of the first three people anybody will mention are Lex Luthor
Right.
and Brainiac.
Right.
Intelligent guys. And that's how you make Superman villains interesting and the story's interesting. It's not Zod. I get it. That's a good origin. That's a good first movie villain.
No, it makes sense with Zod because you're connecting it straight back to Krypton.
Sure.
You move on from that
But, like,
afterwards.
But the problem, though, with Lex Luthor is nobody typically knows how to then use the intelligence against the brawn, and so it often becomes, oh, well, he used his intelligence to make either robots or a clone of Superman or something else that is just strength to then go against his strength, and like, so it defeats the purpose of the brain.
But don't forget the crazy super soldiers, and then ultimately kryptonite somewhere.
Yes, somewhere in there.
There's got to be kryptonite somewhere.
But ultimately, to me, and my biggest complaint, I guess it encompasses the thing about Superman, is that this didn't, to me, feel in any way like a Superman movie. And at points, it felt like Superman was a side character to the plot. I'll get to that in spoilers, but there's a whole section where it's like, he's over there, we're doing this thing over here. He doesn't feel like the main character anymore. And part of that was because I never felt like we developed much of a personality or character with really anybody in this movie, but especially when it's your main character. Like, the whole thing, this is a sidebar, but like Lois Lane and his romance, was there any chemistry there at all?
So
I felt like Henry Cavill and Amy Adams had more chemistry, and they don't have any.
So, okay, I will say, I did feel this was a Superman movie. It is it is definitely the campiest one of the live actions, at least.
Right, I didn't get to finish why I didn't think it was a Superman movie, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But this movie, more than probably any other first superhero film, it is the first one that I feel has heard the majority of the already fans of these superheroes and said, we're just going to assume that you already are a fan here. You've seen a show, read some comics maybe, seen one of the other films that actually introduced everybody and their relations to each other. There is none of that outside of...
And I hated it.
They give you a little timeline of how we got here in just a couple lines of text at the beginning. And after that, this is going to be the rough... This is not the movie for new Superman fans. Not at all.
Are there any of those, though?
That's the thing. That's why I think they're doing this. Because, like,
yeah,
who's really seeing Superman films anymore as this one as their first film? Like, you know, fans who want to introduce, like, their kids.
Yeah.
That could be the only thing, that this might be their first Superman film, and this is going to be really rough for them. But they have so much other media that they could get into, they could learn about Superman with.
My problem is, obviously, there's certain things, you know, that you don't need an origin story for. You can just jump in and go.
Yeah.
Like, he's from Krypton and he crashed here. But it's funny because those are all the things they tell you about.
Yeah.
And then there's other things where you're like, you don't know the backstory here. And you have to find out through conversation. And it's like important things. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers right now, but for example, this is a minor spoiler. He and Lois Lane are already in a relationship, and you don't know that when the movie starts, and you find out a few scenes in based off their conversation, and it's like, okay, that's fine, I guess, but like, I would have liked to have seen this stuff happen, you know, like, and maybe that's why they don't have any chemistry, is when we jump into the middle of the relationship, it's in a rocky moment because there's a lot of stressful things going on, so we never get to see them really like each other until, I guess, the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's literally it. Because, you know, I can't go scene
It gets
but, like,
too deep into spoilers.
There's no time for them as a couple, realistically, outside of to tell us that they are a couple. Yeah. Show it a little bit during some
really
conflict.
Forced kissing scene early on.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
And then we get our little relationship rocks, little conflict.
Yeah.
And then
but like
ends.
they're not to get into spoilers yet, but there's plot points that they're talking about that I was like, that sounds like an interesting movie, and you're telling me it happened, and I hate that. I wanted to see all this. Like, that sounds like, because like there's dilemmas that happened before this movie that sounds like an entire movie on its own. And I'm like, sure, would that have been a super exciting movie? No, not to the average person. They want to see big supervillains and stuff, but there's like interesting plot points going on that I'm like, I hate that we skimmed over that.
People are just tired of Superman and Batman origins, man.
We're just okay, yes, and I understand why, but hear me out here. We're starting a new universe. If you're starting a universe, you can't start the universe in the middle. Like, the fact that there's already like this whole connection with, like, you know, you see the Green Lantern and other people in the trailer and stuff. The fact that there's already a known relationship between these characters that we know nothing about and we just have to pick up on in the middle. I'm like, this is rough. This is really rough. Like, I assumed when I saw the trailer that, like, the Green Lantern was going to be a new guy on the scene. And then, like, no, he's been around.
See, that's the thing. Like, I didn't think that way because I had already heard, not that... Well, I'd already heard that superheroes and metas had been around for a while. I didn't know exactly who.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, knowing that he's one of the Green Lanterns,
Yeah.
I just figured, even if he's new, just the concept of superheroes around probably isn't going to faze too many people anymore.
No, it's not. I just don't like being dropped into the middle of a story where I feel like I'm playing catch up the whole time.
And yeah, they very much put us into the center of this world. Just said,
I
screw
had
the introduction. You'll get the little bit of tidbits
Yeah.
you need to know.
Yeah, like literally, and I can't say it because it's the last scene of the movie, but there's a whole plot point that you're just like, oh, okay, that character's been around. Didn't know that. They just wait until the last scene of the movie to go, oh, by the way.
Yeah, I guess he was always just kind of a businessman around, so.
Who are you talking about?
Are we talking about the same thing?
No.
The very, yeah, no. Okay.
The last scene.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to say who
So
I'm talking about.
I did guess that person was around from one previous line, but I had no real confirmation or anything. I'm also pretty sure I had heard that person was being introduced to the universe. I didn't know it was going to be this, but when I
agree,
heard
yeah.
one line earlier, I thought, oh, the only way that makes any amount of sense unless he's lying, unless he's just cracking a joke here.
Speaking of people that I didn't know were going to be in this movie, I was jump scared by Bradley Cooper. I had no idea. I mean, and I know James Gunn always includes people he's worked with before, especially Gunn's people.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting such a young. Is Jor-El his dad? Who's Jor-El, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I was not expecting Bradley Cooper to be him. I was expecting somebody, because I mean, Marlon Brando played him in the Christopher Reeve one. You're expecting somebody more older and established or whatever. And it was just Bradley Cooper jump scare. And I was waiting the whole movie for Sean Gunn. He didn't show up until like 2/3 of the way through or something.
Never seen that one before.
That is interesting. We're on our own. The purge has begun.
Jesus Christ.
That is a very concerning thing to hear. I've never heard that before.
Intermittent 9/11 shutdowns? That's crazy.
Superman? We
Yeah.
need you.
Everybody get outside and start chanting. Superman. Where's the kids with the flag? Superman.
Oh, but now I can finish my point about it not feeling like a Superman movie. So I think a big part of it was having so many of the side characters. Like I said, he didn't even feel like a main character half the time. And then I just felt like that was too distracting, like him dealing with, like, I don't know. To me, I want to see him doing heroic things and saving people. And they kind of tried to do that, I thought, very poorly, even to the point of, in the middle of trying to save a city, he prioritized saving a squirrel, which was one of the dumbest shit things I've ever seen in any movie ever.
The squirrel was funny. Other animals, you know, like human pets generally, that feels kind of
Sure,
Superman-ish
saving
to me.
somebody's dog, okay.
Yeah.
I would be like, maybe save all the people in the cars that just got smacked across the street. But no, sure, save a dog. But a squirrel?
The squirrel was funny because now it's got me thinking, like, are there no other animals in here? 'Cause, like,
Exactly.
does he leave groundhogs? But that's
This whole movie is abysmally stupid in that it prioritizes visuals over any sort of intelligent thought. That was one of them. But also, so at one point, you see in the trailer, the giant fire-breathing monster thing stomps on him and he goes into the ground. He then Looney Tunes, like, Bugs Bunny's his way 50 feet away to then pop out. I'm like, why didn't you just come out?
It went on for so long.
What the hell
when
were
he
you
first started
doing?
moving, I'm like, okay, he's going to pop out. And then I said
It's
that
just
like
like,
3 more times before he probably popped out. It just went on
Took
for
a
so
wrong turn at
long.
Albuquerque, apparently. I don't know what the hell
That
he
was so
doing.
funny for really no reason there.
This whole movie is like that, where they just prioritize what they think is going to be cool or eye-catching moments for any sort of plot
They're bringing the
or
camp back.
intelligent thought, and it's so frustrating because this movie is so abysmally stupid, from visuals not making any sense to dialogue just, oh my god. There's a line where he's like, oh, you need to hack this thing, and he goes, oh, the password's too complicated, I can't hack it. I'm like, what the hell are you even talking about, bro? Mr. Terrific can't hack it because the password's too complicated?
Listen, man, it's got 25 characters, all right? It allows upper and lower case with some symbols and numbers. You know how many possible combinations there are to crack that?
And then
Got to brute force that.
the whole thing with like, all right, once again, can't get into it until spoilers, but it's like, hey, we did this thing to distract Superman, and once he gets here, then we'll stop doing it because then we've got Superman here. Superman shows up, and they're just like, nah, we're gonna keep doing it. Oh, shouldn't we stop? Nah. It's like, and it just keeps going. I'm like, why? Do you want to destroy everything? You're stupid.
Man.
The whole movie sucked. I hated everything about this movie save for like 2 moments.
I definitely liked it a lot more than you, but
I
it's
can
not
tell.
like it's not a. I didn't think it was great or anything.
It sucked. You never gave it a rating. I gave it a 3 or a 4.
Oh yeah, no, I just figured we would do ratings later. I was trying to figure out because before I was gonna say the rating, I was trying to think of what I might give Man of Steel, but it's just been so long. I don't know how I could fairly compare Man of Steel to this exactly with a rating, but like a 6 seems fine for me.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but like I am way more forgiving with superhero movies because I expect so less of them than other films.
I went into this movie expecting not to like it based on the trailers. I did not have high expectations. My expectations were rock bottom, and they were still too high. I thought I was going to come out of this movie saying, like, 5, forgettable. No. It actively pissed me off. It was actively bad. I never want to see it again. I mourn for whatever DC universe we're getting out of this, because if this is the first step in it, we're in the wrong direction. The movies are going to suck. James Gunn is a hack. And I'm a DC fan. I like DC more than Marvel. I always have. I've always cared more about that. And it sucks because outside of Batman and Superman, the representation has been dog shit my whole life. And now we're getting the DCU by a Marvel guy, if you will, from James Gunn, who seems to enjoy introducing the lesser-known characters. And we could do with DC what we've done with Marvel, where we're taking characters nobody knows about, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and turning them into franchises. But if we're going to do it like this, I don't even want it anymore.
See, it'll be interesting to see what control he exerts over the other movies, because he's not going to direct everything.
No.
So I don't know how much of his campiness will transfer over into the other franchises. I would have actually liked to have seen him tackle Flash instead of Superman.
He would have been much better fit for the Flash.
Yeah.
And that's where the thing is, like, I don't hate James Gunn entirely. I think his tone is good for certain things. I think he was a match made in heaven for, well, I say this as not, my introduction to Guardians of the Galaxy was him. So maybe OG fans hate those movies. I don't know. I think they're probably just grateful to get anything at all. But, like, maybe it's so far off base. But, like, I approach Guardians of the Galaxy as a comedy first, superhero movie second. Same way I approach Deadpool. It's like the comedy is more important. Superman is not, cannot, and should not ever be that way. And so when you're undercutting important, prevalent moments in the plot and action moments by having cheap throwaway gags, it pisses me off. It's not how that's supposed to be. And so I just genuinely hate how they do that, where like they're in the middle of a fight and this guy's like, oh, this computer's down. This computer's down. I just said that. And they're like, shut up. I'm trying to watch an action scene. And we've got stupid visuals like that, and the you see in the trailer, but like the punching the guy and the teeth bounce off the camera. It's just so stupid looking.
Yeah, the occasional slow-mo was kind of...
I hated it.
Kind of interesting.
And on top of that, one of the bigger complaints I have that I didn't hear a whole lot of people complain about with the Zack Snyder Superman is I felt like it got too distracted by worrying about, like, it's Watchmen or The Incredibles, where it's like, oh, well, they're trying to save people, but everybody's upset about it thing, which has its place. But that's not, once again, that's not what I go to Superman for. And so I was kind of irritated when Batman versus Superman kind of went that way. It made a little bit of sense because it was Batman doing it, and that's their arc, is he doesn't trust him. But when this whole movie is about that, I'm like, I thought we were trying to move away from that kind of stuff and just go back to the good old days when Superman was just saving people and everybody loved him.
I think people are only tired of the origin, not the Superman is a dangerous alien, can we trust him storyline yet.
Who cares about that storyline, dude?
I do think there's much better, and I don't think we needed to go that route
we
again.
didn't.
But
It's
like,
boring.
that doesn't seem to be what people are bored of yet.
I just want to see him, like, I was ready for a cheesy Superman movie. I was. I couldn't not be based on the trailer. But, like, I wanted it to be cheesy and, like you said it best, with the Boy Scout thing, where he was like, maybe Boy Scout's not right because, like, I gave him a deeper voice, and I don't picture Boy Scouts with deep voices, but, like,
that's the term everyone
he's
gives them.
heroic, and he's doing this, and I'm going to save the day. Like, I mean, and sure, like, the old Christopher Reeve movies did get political later on. He went and stole everybody's nukes and threw them into the sun. That was a choice. But
Listen. Either everyone has nukes or no one has nukes. That's the Superman way. He chose no one that day.
And it's like, sure, I get that, but, like, I didn't need political Superman. I just wanted Superman being a beacon of hope and light. And sure, there can be some commentary there. Like, they delve into, like, alien commentary, which is fine by me. I wasn't annoyed by that. I was just annoyed when it's, like, the same thing again, where it's like, is Superman, can we trust him? I'm like, shut up. Like, and I get that they're trying to connect it because of the whole Suicide Squad being the only other thing in the DCU so far. But by the way, you say, I don't know how much James Gunn's reach is going to last across all of the DCU movies. It clearly doesn't matter because even from him, one movie to the other, the Suicide Squad and Superman don't feel like they're from the same universe at all, even though they are.
So I wonder how. I don't remember the exact timeline of making Suicide Squad, but I wonder how much of Suicide Squad, like, what did he know that he was being in charge of the universe when he was making Suicide Squad?
I don't think so.
So that's the only thing that
you keep saying the wrong movie. It's the Suicide Squad that he made.
Whatever.
You idiot.
The Ohio State. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna say what the hell I want, but
well, I just don't want the audience to be confused when you start talking about a movie.
Of course, Suicide Squad versus the
He
Suicide Squad.
didn't have anything to do with that movie. Jesus Christ, Dustin, come on.
The one with Peacemaker in it. Yeah, so that's the only thing I can give him for the first one. After
but
that,
clearly it's supposed to be the same universe. They
Oh,
make
yeah.
that very clear.
yeah,
But it doesn't feel like it at all.
That's the thing. With this, well, okay, describe it a bit more, because like when we're talking about him making Suicide Squad and how that might connect to other things, I'm not sure going in. I know he knew he would have some other connections to it. I don't think he knew he would have in charge or be in charge of the whole entire universe. He be able to do whatever he wants.
But he made it, and then he made this one knowing that he was keeping that as part of the universe.
This one, and
So
Peacemaker,
he
the
did
TV show,
align
I'm pretty
them.
sure he knew.
And in fact, he spent so much part of this movie trying to give member berries to a movie that is not part of this franchise, which is extremely confusing. It felt like a Jurassic Park sequel where it's like, remember the other ones? And it's like, okay, cool, I do, but that's not part of this franchise. Why are you telling me to remember Christopher Reeves? It has nothing to do with today.
Hey, man, it's the classic Superman themes.
Okay, invented 50 years ago. It's not like it's been there since the beginning.
They never go out of style, man.
No, I guess not. But like I said, you're not bringing Danny Elfman's theme back every time you make a new Batman movie.
Well, maybe the next one.
No. Or Spider-Man. He's got a new theme every time he shows up.
Spider-Man will be hilarious to come back.
I mean, I guess they did use a Sam Raimi, Danny Elfman theme in the latest one because he was there.
Yeah.
But
That's a little...
yeah, there was a reason. If Christopher Reeve was like, I'm back from the dead and no longer in a wheelchair, then I'd be like, okay, play the song. But like...
They'll cameo him like the Flash did.
Yeah, that's why I stopped mid-sentence, because I couldn't get that picture out of my brain. Then I also went down a rabbit hole and like, I don't know how familiar you are with the guy who played Superman in this, David Corenswet. I've never seen him in anything else.
I'm going to guess I haven't.
He gave me some, back in the day, Brendan Fraser vibes. And so then I went down an imaginary rabbit hole in my mind of if they had made a Superman movie in the late 90s or early 2000s, Brendan Fraser could have been Superman. I was like, I actually think I would have really enjoyed that in a way. But then I was like, but if they were going to make a Superman movie in the 90s, it would have been the Nicolas Cage, Tim Burton one, which would have been terrible and super
Amazing, you
dark.
mean?
So they would never have casted Brendan Fraser. I'm like, I think Brendan Fraser was just born at the wrong time because he could have been Superman in this, and he would have been perfect for it.
Just imagine Nicolas Cage screaming a final line out, like in, was that Long Legs? Whatever that high-pitched one. Yeah.
I make me.
Yeah. Just imagine Superman like that.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
That would have been incredible.
Yeah, mullet and all. But anyway, sidebar done there. I did not like this movie, not one bit.
As we've
It
made
sounded like
clear,
I was starting a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Did not like this, Sam I Am. I did not like this, Superman. That was almost a rhyme.
Got close.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as we've definitely made clear, I enjoyed this more than you, mostly
Clearly.
because I don't seem to hate James Gunn's humor for Superman as much as you, but
It just doesn't fit.
it doesn't really, but I don't know why.
There
it just
was
doesn't bother
literally
me that
two
much.
moments in this movie that I was like, oh, it's a Superman movie. And they were fleeting. It just, the vibe was all wrong.
I will say, I get starting already into universe. You don't have to set up origin films, even though you still will for new characters. You might be able to get away with some of that and introducing more heroes at once. All makes sense. I really don't think it makes for a great first film for anybody
No, that's
at
what
all.
I'm saying.
It takes.
I thought you were disagreeing with me.
No,
I thought this was a terrible way to start a universe.
It takes. I get doing it, but it takes away from
All
the
of them.
superheroes the focus, and
Yeah.
I think they really need to be the focus for the first film. Even if
Yes.
you want to start it with 3 years into him being Superman already, that's fine.
No, it's not.
I don't really care that much about that. But like having the other people take away from the time he could have been doing extra heroic actions, and we could have been bonding with him and bonding with him, and or seeing his bond with the other characters instead of just
Superman's
having
origin
to
doesn't even take
assume
a
it.
long time to tell. It's not like it's Spider-Man or Batman. He just crash lands, grows up, and he's a superhero. That's all you have to do.
He's gotta see the message and get the
No, he
suits. and
doesn't.
Learn how to control his strength. And
No, he doesn't.
and then
really.
join the Daily Bugle or whatever the fuck it's called.
Daily Planet.
Planets, yes, Daily Planets. And then
Well, that would have been fun. It would have been nice to see.
that is the point where I thought this movie. Well, actually, I guess he'd already been Superman, and I'd never really know where that part's gonna really line up. Whether he's gonna be Superman before he joins the Daily Planet or Superman after the Daily Planet, whatever. I kind of thought it would have started with him joining the Daily Planet, so that you still have those character interactions, and they get to still.
I thought the whole
see them
point
grow.
of casting Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was because it was supposed to be they were super young together or something. But no, it's like we were already starting in the middle of it.
Hey,
Why?
3 years in.
Lex Luthor,
Although he's like
that's
30.
The other thing is Lex Luthor is supposed to be a Kevin Spacey. I know we can't cast him in anything anymore, but like that's the problem. Superman Returns is not a good movie, but it wastes such good casting. The casting is phenomenal in that movie, at least for Lex Luthor and Superman. I don't remember anybody else in the movie, but them two were
pretty much.
great. And then also the moment where he gets shot in the eye and the kink, ping, best Superman scene in any movie. I don't care. But anyway, you're supposed to have this older, like, I know. I watched this whole stand-up comedian do a bit on. I think it was Tim Dillon did a rant on like the difference between billionaires now and billionaires before, or like evil business tycoons in the past.
Yeah.
And I get it, they're all trying to be like cool and hip and younger and stuff, but the thing is, they're not. You're clearly basing this version of Lex Luthor is clearly taking inspiration from Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not young. Why are we making this guy young? He can be old and creepy too.
Listen, they're all
Have some
around.
bad plastic surgery.
They're like in their 30s, man. You gotta keep them around for a while or whatever.
No. We need Gene Hackman. We need Kevin Spacey. We need some guy. I don't know. Like, look at the animated series guy. Like, he's just like big, by the way.
No, that's the thing. Like, for me, it's not really the age.
Yeah.
It's
The intimidation factor.
yes, it's
Yeah.
it's the build.
Yeah.
kind of the voice. I really hate just saying they don't have deep enough voices for this. They're not commanding enough.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey
could
be commanding.
I just remembered, because I don't even count him as Lex Luthor. I completely forgot the Jesse Eisenberg one.
Yeah, I remember him.
Because we had a Mark Zuckerberg Lex Luthor, and now we have an Elon Musk Lex Luthor, and they both suck.
Yeah.
What are we doing, making them little sniveling weirdos?
It's not. And it's really crazy because like the animated series for both Batman and Superman have just shaped my ideas of these characters so damn hard.
Yeah.
But it really just they are the best versions. And I get you don't have the limitations, but like come on, the voice acting that was behind them, the actions that they could perform. You can't translate all of them, but some of them, come on.
Yeah.
You get some of the feelings there.
Lex Luthor isn't supposed to be a guy that can beat up Superman by
No.
any stretch of the imagination.
He's
but
supposed to be imposing to the average man, though.
Yes, and he's supposed to be a guy that when he gives kryptonite to Superman, he can pick up a pipe and beat him.
Yeah, he's supposed to feel like our pinnacle, but Superman is just so much higher than him.
I don't know about that, but I get
mean,
what you're going
virtually
for the animated one and some of the comics. But like I see, like in the live action, I have nothing wrong with Kevin Spacey. Like I said, he's intimidating, but I wouldn't say he's macho.
No.
And Gene Hackman is not either. But I love him as Lex Luthor because he feels right for the character. So you don't have to make him huge. You don't.
I don't need him to be huge, but like Nicholas Holtz and Jesse Eisenberg.
No.
I'm sorry.
Hell no. Awful casting choices. I like Nicholas Hoult. That's fine.
I know there's gonna be more there.
Who could I be talking about? No, Jesse Eisenberg is good in his roles. It was funny. I couldn't avoid the punchline.
Now you see me 3. Come on. I can't wait.
I'm just trying to think of like a casting choice for him that would have made sense. All I can think is Kevin Spacey, but we already did that. But like somebody like that, where it's like, I don't know, there needs to be some intimidation factor. And Nicholas Hoult, it just doesn't work. And it's not even just the actor being a poor casting choice, which he is, but it's also the writing and directing. Like there's a scene where he gets upset, so he starts throwing mugs around.
That was
and then he just like knocks one off, and it's for a gag. But once again, you're sacrificing plot and character development for stupid throwaway jokes, where he just knocks one off like a cat. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
That was incredible. He knocks it off, commands them to pick it back up again, and then he knocks it off again. Incredible.
So
it was petty as shit and very not Lex in my idea of Lex, but
they're
like
doing Elon Musk, and I'm like, why are we doing Elon Musk?
because it's
Because
relevant.
it's relevant. Shut the fuck up. The characters are timeless. The characters are timeless. Stop trying to make them relevant.
People don't
They
need.
already were relevant.
No. You see, the days of timeless are over. All right, we're just gonna recreate it in like 10 years anyway. And so
Timeless
we'll have a Superman for a new generation.
Doesn't
and there'll be
Justin.
there'll be some other crazy billionaire that we can model our Lex off of
Yeah.
as well. And
Who are we going to model all of our villains off of once Trump is out of office? Not that we did with this, but so many presidents in the past few years in movies or villains are just Trump or Musk. It's like, we're going to run out of people to make movies about once he leaves.
I mean, we could still keep that up. It'd just be generic Republican.
We've gone so long without getting to spoilers. I think this is the longest non-spoiler section we've ever done. But it's just like there's so much to complain about for me in this movie. I really don't like it. This is awful. It's one of my least favorite superhero movies or comic book movies. And it's not like we've seen much worse made comic book movies. Like, I mean, this isn't Batman and Robin. This isn't Suicide Squad or any of those things. I get it. But from a perspective of how well it represents the characters and gave me what I wanted out of this, it's one of the worst. Absolutely one of the worst. It's like making like Batman tell jokes or something.
Dude,
but nobody would ever do
the
that.
1960s Batman.
No, okay. I'm talking.
Love.
I'm doing it now.
Love
I'm talking Joss Whedon.
I'd kill for that again. Bring back the absolute camp fest Batman. I would die. Absolutely love that shit. I just want to see him running around with a bomb again. trying to figure out where to dispose it. There's just some ducks over there. See, that's it. That's the squirrel right there.
There were so many moments in this movie. I just kept getting lower and lower into my chair. I was just like, I didn't want to be there. I was in physical pain watching this movie, Justin.
Before we dip into it, how'd you feel about the one attempted really dark scene in this movie?
See, the fact that I don't even know what you're referring to is telling. Are you talking about the choking?
The interrogation.
What about it? How did I feel about it?
There we go. I guess that answers the question right there.
How did you feel about it?
I was honestly shocked. I didn't, because I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it's like, I was honestly shocked that one stuck.
I wasn't shocked because it's James Gunn, and he tries to put as much as he can. Like, I mean, Guardians 3, they were starting to get some darker elements in there, and then obviously Suicide Squad, I'm sorry, is James Gunn unfiltered.
Yeah.
And so he puts in graphic and gory stuff. In this movie, they kept hinting at stuff rather than showing it to keep it lighthearted.
So, okay. And I totally get the James Gunn angle. I will say for Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
What movie?
It's a TV show.
No.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
THS, TSS, TSS. Gotcha. TSS.
What is THS?
Yeah, fucked up.
The Suicide Squad?
Of course.
And they go after the Grinch. Try to kill the Grinch. We may die trying, but we're going up Mount Newell.
Please, I would kill for that movie. See, you got a future animated feature right there.
Is it Mount Newell is Horton Hears a Who, isn't it? It's
like
Mount Crumpet to Dump It. The Suicide Squad, though, is a great bit. I love that.
No, that is definitely your movie. But I expect violence from those characters. So I expect violence in those movies, and it doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
That was a little shocking for a Superman film. Not because other people can't do really violent things in a Superman film. You just don't expect it as much.
It wasn't.
Because it's a Superman film.
It wasn't violent, though. It was just...
It is pretty violent for what I was expecting of a Superman
film.
film.
Implied.
And by that point, really what had been done.
Yeah, there was a couple... But once again, that's where it's like, it didn't feel like a Superman movie to me. And I'll get more to that in spoilers again with the visuals that they're skirting around. But I don't think I was shocked. I was just disappointed. Not by the interrogation scene. I was fine with that. That was fine. I didn't have any issues with that, other than I thought it was a bit silly. But the whole movie was a bit silly. So, all right, we're going to get into spoilers finally, just so we can talk freely about this. Long story long. Didn't like it, as you can tell. 3.5.
I guess I'll still stick with a 6. 5.5-ish. I mean, I was fine with it. It's a different feel from the characters than I would have preferred, but it doesn't bother me nearly as much as it bothers you.
I'm a big DC fan, so even though
I'm also a big DC fan, and
even though Superman isn't one of my favorite characters, I just for some reason I cared. Where I was like, I wanted it to be like a return to form, and it just wasn't in any way.
I feel like I got all my anger out in the Zack Snyder films.
I like the Zack Snyder films more than this, and I'm not even a big fan of them. Okay, I liked some of the Zack Snyder films more than this. I did not like Justice League more than this at all.
No.
I forget what I gave that. I probably gave it around a 3 or a 4 as well, actually. The Joss Whedon one is like a 2. So it being better than that wasn't hard. Anyway, all right, we're getting into spoilers now, so if you don't want anything spoiled, you should click away, go watch it, come back, and we can talk about it then. But don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, rate, all that stuff. It does help. We're moving up in the world. We got 40 subscribers. We're so cool. Anyway, hopefully the audio doesn't sound like shit. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
So, spoilers. I don't know. The interrogation thing, I was neither here nor there on because it was a slightly darker moment, but it was also played for laughs, so I just was
I was kind of shocked. Like, I expected, using somebody else for torture.
Sure.
Using that guy.
Some random guy you said hi to one time was so stupid.
It's a little not indirect.
Why not start with it? Because he's like, we'll go back with that reporter you always talk to. And you're like, Lois Lane. And he goes, Clark Kent. And you're like, ha ha ha. And I was just like, why not start there?
Yeah, and it made sense, but it made sense to, like, say Clark instead of Lois,
Yeah.
but
It was like the moment in The Batman when he was like, the one we didn't get,
it's just like,
Bruce Wayne.
I guess outside of Clark,
Not making fun of you, Paul. To know I like you, but it was just a funny performance.
I guess outside of Clark and
Lois.
that guy, because, like, I don't know if
No.
Lois, we never saw Lois put out that interview, so, like, had Lois done a public interview with Superman yet, realistically?
Why not? If she hadn't, that was one of the dumbest non-Superman things. Is Superman's bit was he always talked to Lois Lane, not himself.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
It's not like he's not Spider-Man. He's not taking pictures of himself. He's talking to the girl that he's got the hots for. That was the Superman thing.
Yeah, I didn't quite expect him to be interviewing himself for 3 years.
That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I interviewed Superman right afterwards. Didn't he fly off?
Yeah, he flew off. What's your connection? Also, by the way, speaking of weird character decisions, what the fuck was Jimmy Olsen in this movie?
Yeah, I gotta see some other iterations of Jimmy Olsen, because I remember Jimmy Olsen of the past being kind of dorkish,
He's supposed to be dorkish. I think
but I remember him getting with Supergirl basically every time. So that was kind of like his, I don't know, like getting the girl who's much way out his league.
sure, but that at least like it's funny, but it's a one-off. And you could also
Well, I mean, he's got to then be character for Supergirl if you're gonna do Supergirl in, like, your universe or whatever.
No, I'm saying like it's a one-time thing that Supergirl, it's one person, one girl fell for him, not every woman in the planet.
Yeah, no,
and it's funny because Supergirl has no concept of what makes men on Earth attractive, so it's like you can write that off as a reason. And you're like, oh, okay, sure. She's an alien. She thinks that that's hot.
I'm not surprised that.
That's funnier than having every woman in the world think Jimmy Olsen's hot for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that
Being a womanizer.
like Jimmy Olsen could have a girlfriend before, Supergirl, whatever, even have dated before. I gotta figure out how many iterations of Jimmy Olsen. He's just the absolute god chick magnet.
I would guess 0.
I feel
Or I guess 1 now, but
'cause,
I
like,
thought even in some iterations they made him gay. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that had happened at some point.
the Supergirl TV show
He is
had
a redhead.
tall.
I'm surprised he's not black.
Well, the Supergirl TV show had a tall, buff, black Jimmy Olsen.
Of course they did. It was interesting where it's like some of the violence hinted at like James Gunn violence, but couldn't show it because they wanted to keep it nice and clean and squeaky. So it's like they kept like X-ray visioning stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, the monster's insides blew up. Let's watch that through X-ray vision. Or, oh, he's being choked from the inside out by nanobots. Let's show that through X-ray or through whatever vision they were using.
And part of that, and actually all of that, is because, like, if in Man of Steel, they shot that guy in the head during the interrogation scene, I wouldn't have batted eye. No. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's just
Jimmy Olsen
that's what we've been
died in
doing.
the first 2 minutes in
Yeah,
Man of
he did.
Steel.
Oh my god, I forgot about
I don't
that.
know if they even ever said his name.
I think they might have said Jimmy.
Like, Jimmy, no! Oh, he's dead.
But yeah,
He had a bag on his head. They took the bag off and shot him.
I forgot about that. Like, yeah, like that set the tone. That's why it shocks me. I didn't expect him to be actually shot in the head. No, there wasn't blood or anything. There wasn't brains
It
or
cut away,
anything.
yeah.
They
Or it
went
was a wide
they
shot
wide
of
out,
him,
and there was
yeah.
clearly no splatter like you
Yeah.
would see in anything trying to have that.
No.
And then he didn't come back. He was really dead in the end. I did love, though.
How would he have come back from being shot in the head?
Dude, I just thought it was gonna be like fake or something, or he was gonna be the
Yeah,
real
Lex
person.
Luthor
Just
fakes killing people all the time.
I mean, listen, I don't know what's exactly to expect about the Superman movie in the James Gunn universe. I know it's James Gunn, but this isn't Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are for the civilians here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think somebody would have been shot in the head like that in, Christopher Reeve's Superman. But,
No.
it definitely would have happened in Zack Snyder's Superman. I
don't
did
know.
love, and it was bad, but I did love the little line they gave us before they shot him in the head. to be
Which
like,
one?
hey, it's okay if he dies, guys. He's like, I don't have any family or children or anything. It's okay if I go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank
I
you
have
for
no friends, no connections, no relatives.
thank you for making me feel better about killing this lonely guy who fed Superman once. It's like, way to kill your impact here.
This movie sucked, dude. All the dialogue was dog shit. I hated so many of the lines were so dumb. They just
were.
said dumb stuff constantly.
There was a lot of bad dialogue here.
It was awful, consistently terrible dialogue, and characters that made no sense. They're trying to get Superman to come to the Rift because they want to know where he's going next. Is the idea?
It seemed like they want to draw him away from the front line of the war.
Because they
So
want to let that happen.
Yeah,
and
'cause-
so they've got Ultraman, and I forget what her name was.
I wasn't ever gonna remember their names.
She was also a terrible actress. Wait, you don't know who Ultraman is?
I didn't. When I forgot about him, and I did not expect that because
Oh.
that seems. I've always, again, I haven't read every comic. I've seen most everything that's been animated in the last like 30 years, and most of the live action TV shows. I didn't remember that wasn't like a multiverse thing. No, I thought that was supposed to be Match. Because they said they screwed up it was supposed to be a clone of Superman where they said it was corrupted or something and they screwed up the cloning process. And then they said the line where he's like, he's not as smart as you, which I know Match is always, kind of the idiot. But he should be a match for you. And I'm like, is that the little connection there? Is that the nudge wink wink? Oh, that's Match right there.
There's so many copycat Supermans. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I was like, because there was Atomic Man or whatever his name was. I'm trying to figure out, in one of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, they clone him, and I'm trying to figure out which one that is. I don't think it's the second one. I thought it was the third one, but it doesn't look like it is. Nuclear Man was what they called him in that one. But in the radio show, it was like the Atomic Man or Atom Man or something. There's always clones of Superman in like
Yeah.
every iteration.
Yeah, this is who I thought it was supposed to be. But not the same exact design. But
But then also they didn't change his name, so I'm staring at him going like, so it's his clone with the mask on.
yeah.
And then they took the mask off, like, oh, it's his clone. I'm like, yeah. The funniest thing with Lex Luthor, too, is so, like, at the end, they're, like, yelling at each other. And then Krypto comes in and obliterates him. And I said to you, it's funny because it's a dog. Because imagine if Superman was the one ragdolling him around.
Yeah.
That would have been like, everybody would have been like, oh, we can't show that. But, like, oh, a dog's doing it, so it's funny. And I was like, no. It was like the scene in the Avengers where the Hulk grabs Loki and fucking throws him around. Superman doesn't do that, but it's a dog doing it, so it's funny.
This whole movie, Krypto is so damn unruly. He's jumping on everybody. He's destroying everything. He's breaking into buildings. They're worried he's going to accidentally kill some cows. He is just wildly untrained and doesn't know how to control his own strength.
Not a fan.
And then, he ragdolls Luthor in the end. And I thought,
Just breaks his arm, though. Nothing else.
yeah.
Broke his forearm, I guess, because he was holding it like it was broken, but they didn't actually show it being broken.
He could have killed Luthor there. That was crazy.
He should have, frankly, doing what he did to him.
I was shocked that let that happen.
It was-
You are right. That is
That was the most shocking
if this
scene
wasn't
to
a
me.
dog, this
Yeah.
wouldn't be okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that's
This would have been this would have been the plot of the movie where it's like, can we trust Superman? He ragdolled that guy.
And we
Yeah,
can
I
talk
just
about
am way less
the
forget-
post-credit and mid-credit scene.
Gosh.
Most useless ones ever?
Maybe I'd have to look back, but my gosh, the first one was just him and Krypto sitting on the moon.
Either the moon, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it was the
I was
moon.
thinking it was an asteroid, but the moon makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just went out to the moon and were just looking back at the Earth.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's a famous
Both-
image from a comic or a TV show or something.
It is.
That they're probably recreating in live
Yeah.
action. That wasn't worth sitting through half the credits for.
No. And then the end credits was literally a scene from earlier in the movie that they went, this doesn't fit tonally because we're trying to wrap up. Because it's like he had just saved everything. I never finished my rift point. Just finished everything, put the rift back together, but everything's just kind of off by like 6 inches or whatever.
Well, because the buildings tore apart, so all the debris came back, and it's not like they
Yeah.
fused together perfectly. They
Yeah.
just came back together where, the breaks roughly were. They just kind of squished.
Yeah. And so, but like, they they then cut to him not running over. He appears behind Lois Lane. And they run off to go make out. But then it's like clearly they had filmed this other scene to be in there and went, oh, it doesn't fit. And so they scooted it to behind the credits, and it's him and Mr. Terrific looking at it, and he's like, it's a little bit off. It's a little bit askew. And he's like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not perfect. What do you want me to take it apart and put it back together? And then he goes like, man, I'm a real jerk sometimes. Very Brendan Fraser delivery. I'm telling you, this guy's Brendan Fraser all over again. And then he walks off, and the movie's over. I was just like, I didn't need that. It wasn't funny. It wasn't good. Well, what are we doing? Waste of time. And that's kind of how I felt about the whole movie. So, yeah. It's funny. We had like no spoilers to talk about because we talked about everything before the spoilers. Do you have anything to add spoiler-wise? I don't know. Supergirl's in it.
Yes. And so that was the thing we were talking about earlier. There's a line in the movie where it gets exposed that Superman has a dog, because Lex kidnaps the dog, which is hilarious. Because that's another reason why the killing was a little shocking to me. But I mean, it's a dog. I guess I should have,
That scene too.
No one has the fucking
heart. He goes storming. So like you see, like it shows Lex Corp's building or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see it from a wide angle, and then Superman goes flying and bursts it through the window.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Lex Luthor's office, and he bursts the door like off its hinges, blows up the whole wall. And then the secretary comes running in after him. I tried to stop him. Bitch, no, how? What do you want? Like, stop, please. As he went flying by. It's not like he went smashing through the window, went smashed through the door. He was flying, I'm assuming, the whole time. Like, I tried to stop. Bitch, you didn't know he was there until he was through the wall. Anyway, yeah. So now all of a sudden everybody knows that he has a dog.
Yeah.
Including Lois Lane, who for some reason didn't know he had a dog.
Yeah.
Goes, oh, it's a foster.
Yeah,
thing,
even though she knows he's Superman, she didn't know that part.
They've been dating forever.
But that also is part of the reason I thought maybe Supergirl might be in the movie.
Nothing mattered. Her being introduced didn't matter at all. It was okay, she's gonna have her own movie next year. It was essentially a post-credit scene in the middle of the movie.
Not the middle of the movie. That's the very end, but it definitely should have been the post-credit scene.
It should have been.
Because she's clearly there to introduce her.
It was filmed to be one, and then, like I said, they realized, oh, this scene doesn't fit where we want it. Where can we put it in post-credit? We already have a post-credit. Well, that's it right here.
I mean,
it was an editing choice.
Listen. They could have definitely eliminated that last post-credit scene, moved the little image one to the very end if they wanted, that little live-action recreation image thing, them on the moon.
Sure.
They could have moved that to the end and done Supergirl as the mid-roll credit.
Or just gotten rid of them sitting on the moon, made that a poster, and left it at that.
That probably would have been better too. But like, if they wanted to do it, just she made so much more sense because it's clearly just to introduce her for whatever her future role will be, whether that's a TV show or a movie. A movie, I forgot. Right.
I think.
Yeah, no, I did remember hearing that she's gonna get a movie. So she's got a movie next year, or whenever it's coming out. This is clearly just to introduce that she's here and she's an active character already, and was she wearing the suit in the end, I think?
She was wearing the suit. Yeah. She was wearing something over it.
That's fine. But she had the suit on, and Krypto's her dog, and she is still, younger than him like every other iteration, and teenager-esque. I don't think she's that age exactly.
She's
but
a drinking age, but she's
she's space drinking age, but yeah, I'm sure.
They start drinking on Krypton.
American movie, whatever.
Yeah.
She's got like that carefree punk rocker attitude that I guess a few characters were supposed to have. I guess she's...
Dude, speaking of not developing characters, Lois Lane's character, they just threw stuff at you and you just had to accept it, even though there was no reason to believe it.
She was
Shout
a
out
punk
POD, by the way.
She was the POD.
Name drop. Was so random. And also to group POD in a group of non-cool punk bands was wild. Not saying that...
They were pop punk or whatever bands.
They're not.
According to Lois.
I mean,
I don't know the other bands, if they were even real or not. But
I'd never heard of the other two. But POD just getting name dropped like that, I assume the other ones are real because why would you name 3 bands and only one of them is real?
No, you know what? They didn't even know POD. They just made that one up. It's just coincidentally the name of a band.
It makes sense why Superman would like them because he came to Earth in a pod. So, as a young child, he was trying to Google where he came from, and he Googled pod a bunch.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all, but that does work out. I was too taken back just by like, I recognize that band. What was their song?
Yeah. Every character in this movie is surface level. They try to like shoehorn, like I said, a couple of character things in there to make you interested in the main characters, like Lois Lane or Lex Luthor. Like dude, the monologuing by Lex Luthor was some of the worst monologuing by any villain in any movie ever. He just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And so at one point he's like, for some reason, admitting to Superman, like, oh yeah, I do all this because I'm jealous. Let me talk about why I'm jealous. I'm like, shut up. I don't need to know why Lex Luthor is the way he is. Shut the fuck up and move on. There was so much. Oh, listen. So bad.
He was, keeping him busy with his talking while he wrote down the instructions at the same time. Because Lex, over the 3 years, has studied Superman. Please, that would have been incredible.
Every move that
Z26.
yeah. He's just got like a playbook, like a play sheet.
It was hilarious.
Not only is that dumb, but every move has a Mortal Kombat video showing what the move is going to do.
That was also hilarious. But no, it was like, so he studied his actions so much
over the past 3 years, which we didn't see any of.
No, but he studied his actions so much that he can exactly predict Superman's next move and give his super soldier instructions on
in real time
on how to exactly fight. And I loved
the Hugh Jackman robot, Real Steel.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what they're doing, except for he's saying B12.
Yeah, no, and the coding system was crazy. It was like B12, A26, Z7, K92, and then he's just like, yeah, he's got 2,500, different combinations. I'm like, how does that system? Whatever. How does the system work?
You remember A1?
Oh yeah,
A1. Standard jab.
A1. You got him on the ground. But no, that was probably specifically when you're on top of ground and pound jab.
I think it was just a jab. It makes sense that the first move is just a jab.
No, I love the first combo because I can't remember the numbers, but it was literally just fly out, grab him by the neck, and then right hook to the face. It's like, oh, thanks. That was my guess at what I was gonna do next.
Specifically, also grab his cape and pull him down. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. It's so stupid. Oh, can we briefly, though, I do want to talk about the two moments in this movie that almost made me like the movie temporarily. The first one was, after a particularly rough go of it with Kryptonite, Superman has to go back to the farm with his Ma and Pa Kent and catch his breath for a couple of days. So they say. I don't know how long it was because they said it'll take a couple of days, but then he only goes to bed and wakes up once before he leaves. But then he also says, I've never seen you sleep that long.
Hey, presumably he slept for like 3 days or so.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's the classic story thing.
Seems like it. But anyway, they have a moment where he's like talking to Pa Kent, and he's like, hey, parents don't... Because I don't like that story, but there's a story with like... It reveals that...
Oh, yeah, we have to talk about that.
His real parents' message, I kept thinking it was going to be deep-faked or something.
I swore to God the whole movie it was going to be deep-faked. I didn't love that.
It was real, and it turns out they sent him to Earth, not to help Earth, but to conquer it.
To rule and spread your genes.
Yeah, get concubines and shit.
Get a harem and breed.
Yeah, which it does make sense, but once again, it's like... If that's so, if Man of Steel is so insulting what they did to the characters, how is that not more so insulting?
See, but that's insulting to his parents.
To his parents,
and
okay, whatever.
He's got another pair of parents to be good.
Yeah, who are heroes, and so that he's coming to grips with the fact that he isn't who he thought he was, and his parents aren't who he thought they were. Yada yada yada. So then you've got this nice little conversation. It's not super deep or anything, but it is surface level nice, where Pa Kent goes like, hey. Your parents aren't there to tell you who to be. They give you the tools and then let you make your own mistakes. I was like, okay, that feels like Superman. That conversation feels like a Superman conversation. And then the other scene that I started to like was there's one of the major side plots is that there's these two, I think, fictional countries, Barovia and Jahardin or something.
So, yeah.
And Barovia is invading Jahardin.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Russia-Ukraine thing is what they're going for. But they made Ukraine Middle Eastern.
That's why when I was on Twitter, I saw a lot of Israel-Palestine.
But it's not, though, because...
It's not exactly.
Yeah,
not
it's
really.
Closer to Russia-Ukraine.
I would agree with that.
But so there's one good scene that came out of that pointless subplot. And I mean it. Everything with motivation it could have been a million other things, didn't actually matter.
This one country is invading this other one under the pretext that the other country, the J country, I can't remember the name. Jahardin or something like that. They're enslaved. They're under the despotic rule of some people, and they're whatever. They never really explained it too well.
They're pretending that the
they're going to liberate the people.
Is tyrannical, and so they're like, we're going to liberate you from your own government.
Yeah.
By conquering you.
Yeah, violently.
And they're like,
and so
we're fine.
Superman stops that, and this triggers.
Which is what I said should have been a movie. That should have been the first movie of this franchise, or maybe a sequel, because that doesn't sound like a first Superman movie, but that could have been its own movie.
See, it wouldn't have been the alien thing angle, but I would have enjoyed that because what they set up with his interview with Lois there, and then kind of dropped afterwards, mostly outside of Lex getting authorization to do whatever he wanted, was because he's from America, because he wears the red, white, and blue, essentially.
People assume he's representing America, even though he's
People
not.
assume that he is, and that was part of the plot, that people are assuming that maybe America sent him, but America didn't send him, so he's a rogue agent. Who does he represent? What are his loyalties? That could have been an alright movie, figuring that out.
Things could have been good in this, but weren't.
But but all of this, that sets up along a lot of the plot of the movie, but all of this was a setup from Lex, who wants the invasion to happen, because when he's
selling weapons to them, so he's getting money from that, but also
he's
them a deal.
He's not getting any money from that, realistically.
He's getting $1.8 billion still.
For $80 billion worth of for weapons.
I thought it was 8.
It was 80.
Okay, well, regardless.
Because they said it was the $78 billion question afterwards.
Regardless, because he's getting half the country.
Yeah.
Was what we were trying to say.
So he's trying to get his own country, so I guess he can build his little tech universe in the desert and have all the oil out there.
Whatever, because there's not enough room for him to do it anywhere else.
But that's his own country. He really could probably just buy an island.
But anyway, so that's the why this is happening. But anyway, there's a group of people on like the border all protesting because they think protesting is going to do anything. And meanwhile, you've got tanks getting ready to bulldoze some fences. But at one point, these kids make a Superman flag and are waving it, shouting for Superman, Superman. I'm going, now that's a Superman scene.
Totally agree with you.
Like, Man of Steel fucked up a lot about Superman, but one thing it did was it got that imagery down. Like the people on, the houses during the flood, like reaching up, like, oh, Superman, help us, and he comes and gets them.
Totally agree.
In this, they hint at some stuff, like the kids hug him, and that's cool and all. But like, so you're building up to what would have been the best Superman moment in this whole movie,
right? And
then Green Lantern saves them instead.
Yeah, and that's the issue with
going like this.
And I have no problem with how they with them showing up and how they act after showing up. I don't really care about that.
But it just would have been a good moment.
Yes, and that's the issue with introducing so many characters into your first Superman film. Even if it's not an origin movie, you still gotta let your new Superman shine some more.
And he didn't feel like the main character half the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Because like you start the movie with him getting his ass kicked, and then most other things until the other superheroes get introduced is just packed with controversy a little bit.
Yeah.
There wasn't even much in between there.
It was too busy. They were trying to do too much.
And then from then on, they are there to do a lot of the work for Superman while he tries to clear his name, or he's locked in prison, or he's...
It was a sequel plot to a movie that didn't exist. And so then they spent half of the movie telling you about things that already happened from the sequel or from the first movie that they didn't show.
Yeah.
And so they waste so much time. It would have been better to actually just make that first movie and then make the sequel.
And even if they wanted to start 3 years into Superman,
sure.
Even if they wanted to have him and Lois dating for 3 months already,
sure.
Even if they wanted to have all the various changes around Superman's life, if you just leave those other superheroes
out
to the next film,
yes,
I think it's a much better first film for Superman. The new Superman. Again, we don't need to do the origin. Nobody's asking for it. They clearly don't want to even have to do any of that. They're clearly just, hey, if you don't know anything, sorry, go watch some other stuff. But for everyone who has, just jump right in. But
I thought the reason to introduce those characters when I saw the trailer was I thought they were going to try to stop Superman. I thought they were going to be the quote-unquote bad guys working for Lex.
That would have been interesting. And they were working for a company. It's just this was like some faceless, not bad company that allows them to go...
It was the league, or the Justice Gang.
No, but like remember when he showed up on behalf of Maxwell Corp or whatever...
Yeah.
He
what's
said
what they say?
something.
Yeah.
Now, maybe...
Oh, Maxwell. That's Sean Gunn's character. Maxwell Lord?
Yeah.
Or Lord... Yeah, Maxwell Lord.
Max-
Which, by the way,
Maxwell
I was
Lord.
waiting the whole movie for him to show up because he's always in every James Gunn movie, his
Yeah.
brother. And then it wasn't until, like, the last... whatever.
And, like, I know that character, and, like, I guess I didn't catch the reference at first, but having them, like,
Yeah, I didn't
sponsored
get it
by a company does kind of make you feel like they're going to end up with that. Oh, we're... Dragonfly?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We're against you, Superman, but,
Just go that way. Go that way.
yeah, they did take away from his moment.
No, they were
I also,
trying just to do so much, and they didn't have time for any of it. It should
I also
have been
thought
multiple movies.
I also thought it was wild for them to not have, like, Green Lantern and them show up when the tanks started firing. Like, I know they're not going to show it, and I know we're never going to acknowledge it, but, like, those tanks didn't miss a giant field of people.
No.
They just killed some off-screen people that we're just going to ignore afterwards and not talk about. And
Yeah.
I
Just
know they
like
saved the
when-
day, but,
when
like...
Superman was surrounded by all of those super soldiers, and he shot his laser through all of them, but then you see a group of them fall down, just hurt, not cut in half. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, this movie was like, we're not gonna show it, but stuff is happening.
See, but Superman doesn't kill.
But anyway, yeah. Long story longer. It's not good. It's a waste of time. Don't see it. That's my review.
It's a James Gunn Superman film. Zack Snyder fans will not like it. Classic Superman film fans might forgive it. It doesn't bother me as much as him, but giving it a 6, as I've said one time before and will reiterate, my grading scale is way off. I am way more forgiving of superhero films because I expect nothing from them. I would if this were like some original idea, you know, Hancockish sort of thing, I'd be tearing this apart.
Not good. 3.5.
5.5, 6. That,
See, that's not even a good rating, though.
I never said it was a good rating.
know.
I never said it was a good movie.
No.
I expected nothing.
And
I
got
came
nothing
out
in return.
laughing a decent amounts, not for always for
The
the,
right
good reason,
reasons,
but you know,
yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
And
Dude, the rift pissed me off so much. Why? Like, we were opening a rift to distract him, but then we're just gonna keep it open and almost destroy the entire planet. Just
yeah, that
because
was
it's so dumb.
But no. You remember he said,
They
I'm gonna
chose him. They deserve to die.
yeah, and I'm gonna stop it at a city I like more.
Yeah. Stupid. Well, we're done. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.